This is the AHSAA Weekly, your inside look at everything happening with the Alabama High School Athletic Association. I'm John Holder. Coming up on this week's program, we're going to visit with student athletes and the head track and field coach at Scottsboro High School. Luke Robinson will join us along with record-setting track standouts Cooper Atkins and Maddox Max Ham. We'll also meet our Wilson Ball Grant recipient this week, Jennifer Westall of Holly Pond Middle School in Coleman County. Also coming up this week, we have Jerry Young, veteran broadcaster on the NFHS network. We'll talk about broadcasting and the NFHS network as well. And of course, David Holsford's highlights. We got some great track and field competition from the state meets last weekend. All of that and more on this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly. WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA Weekly Show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
Uneven floors got you rolling? Ox Foundation Solutions has the expertise and the know-how to repair cracks, wet basements and crawl spaces, and uneven floors in your home. It's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver Card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
We are back on the AHSAA Weekly, and we are very pleased to be joined by veteran broadcaster Jerry Young from the NFHS network. Broadcast a number of sports all across the state of Alabama, including last week's Class 1A, 2A, and 3A state track and field championships coming up this week. We'll be doing the state soccer championships up in Huntsville. Jerry, glad to have you with us and taking some time to spend with us and talk about high school athletics, and particularly the NFHS network here on the AHSAA Weekly.
Yeah, it's one of my most favorite things to do, John, and I appreciate you having me on. It's a pleasure to be here. And, like you said, we're covering all the spring sports right now. So it's that time of year when the state championships are happening in spring, and we're just, glad to be playing. That's for sure.
That's for sure, Jerry. One of the things we talked with coaches about, these spring coaches especially, they didn't get to play for a state championship last year. The winter and the fall sports were not impacted from that aspect of it. So I think it's probably, and you've been at the games and broadcasting the games, it has been very extra special for these spring sport athletes to be able to compete for state championships again. Have you seen that in your visits with these athletes and coaches?
Yeah, they're more excited than they've ever been. And I think one of the things, when you look back, John, we were teenagers, there was life going on. You didn't realize the importance of a lot of things that were happening like this. But this class, and especially, the next 2 or 3 year class coming up, they understand what it's like to have it pulled out from under them. And it's made them very aware and very thankful of, to be honest with you, AHSAA and the state of Alabama, and give all of them credit for getting us back open and getting us playing for spring sports. But yes, John, I want to tell you, these kids that I'm around, they're just as excited about playing almost just to have the chance to play as it is winning the state championship.
We mentioned doing a lot of sports, track and field one week, soccer the next week. You've done a lot of other sports besides that as well through the years. Any idea over the years just maybe how many games, meets, matches that you have broadcast?
If I tell you how many years I've been doing this, John, I'll embarrass myself, but I'll say it's 30 plus. I tried to figure it out just on football. And if you do 30 years, say you do 10 games a year, I know I'm in the, a minimum of 300 and probably twice that just on football. But, we do, we had track last week, and now we do head up to Huntsville to do the soccer state championships. And then the week after that, we'll be in Montgomery to cover baseball. It would be covering softball as well. But of course, the move with softball, away from Montgomery has made it where we just have to cover baseball because I can't drive a lot that distance. But yeah, the kids are excited, and it's just great to be playing.
Jerry, tell us about your involvement with the NFHS network. Specifically, you're involved with Thompson High School, and just kind of talk about your involvement with Thompson and overall for folks that may not be familiar with the NFHS network.
Well, NFHS network's subscription-based live stream network to where every student can have a chance to be promoted across the country on the NFHS network. And the AHSAA, of course, a strong supporter. Schools, excuse me, I just got a lightning hit there behind me, but all the schools that participate in the NFHS network, are very thankful. So.
Well, Jerry, let's talk about, before we lose time and maybe lose signal with all the weather, let's talk about something that made you famous that none of us saw it coming. No one saw what was going to happen at Bryant-Denny Stadium at the end of that Thompson-Auburn game this year. Tell us about your broadcasting the game for Thompson and the incredible finish that everyone who follows high school athletics is now familiar with. Just take us through that wild finish of that Thompson-Auburn game.
I've gone back, John, watched it so many times. I think there were 8 miracles in a row that had to happen for Thompson to win that game. And Josh Bean said it best. He quoted me on a tweet that said, I had already said, I'm talking about basketball. How stupid am I? I mean, it's just like we had given up. The players, the television was showing them hugging and, consoling each other. And I was trying to say something that the fans listening, and a lot of them, I'm sure, had gotten so a bad feeling and cut it off. And I'm trying to, the people that listen, I'm talking about sponsors and thanks for everybody. And all of a sudden we blocked the punt, and it's like, less than 20 seconds to go. And I said, wait a minute, we blocked the punt, and it put us within 2. Of course, the circumstances leading up to that blocked punt were really phenomenal. The fact that Auburn took the knee, but they kept taking the knee 10 or 15 yards back, which meant they had the ball originally on our 20-yard line, first down. If they were just ran it forward, it wouldn't have been any need to punt, but they kept going backwards, put them in a position to punt. We blocked the punt, picked it up, ran it in, and then the onside kick, we recovered. And then 2 or 3 plays later, with the aid of a very obvious pass interference call near the goal line, gave us a chance to kick the field goal and win it. And you're right. I mean, it went viral, of course. I was on radio, sports talk shows all over the country. People calling, wanting to know what it was like to explain that. And there is no explanation. I can tell you this, in my career, 30 plus years, and in a lot of folks, that's why we do this, for that one play to get a chance to call it, get a chance to call that situation on the football field, an absolute miracle win. It has really done wonders for the community here in Alabaster, Alabama. And just a lot of, credit goes to AHSAA and goes to, the Thompson athletic course coach, Mark Freeman, and keeping them focused and calling he was watching the timeouts, and he was doing those little things, knew exactly what he had. He was still coaching. Everybody else had their headsets off, their helmets off. Coach Mark Freeman was still coaching to the very end, and I have no doubt that that's what, gave Thompson the chance to win.
Jerry, thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for the work and dedication you've given over the years, really service that you have given to high schools and high school coaches and athletes down through the years in your work with not only Thompson High School, but statewide on the NFHS network.
It's been a labor of love, John. I appreciate the interview. Thank you very much.
Jerry Young from the NFHS Network with us here on the AHSAA Weekly. Back in just a moment. WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA Weekly Show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
Hot under the collar because your basement is full of water? Ox Foundation Solutions has the expertise and the know-how to repair cracks, wet basements and crawl spaces, and uneven floors in your home. Ox Foundation Solutions will come up with the right fix for you. It's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong.
Since 1848, First Bank of Alabama has been dedicated to our customers and excellence in all areas. With constant improvements to our facilities, to adding new products and services to better serve you, our team is fully engaged in all the communities we serve. First Bank of Alabama knows that time is money, so we offer hometown services with advanced technology that allows you to bank on your own schedule. We want to be your community bank, so stop by. Come see us at First Bank of Alabama, where you're always first.
Your health is everything. It is your wealth. Your family's wealth. Being and staying healthy is the only security you can give to yourself and loved ones, your family. With a multifaceted approach to health and wellness, our family will assist and guide you in that quest. Live responsibly. Join our family. Call and make your appointment today.
We are back on the AHSAA Weekly. We're going to take you to the northeast corner of Alabama to Scottsboro High School. The Wildcats in the Class 6A boys track and field competition last week in Gulf Shores finished as the Class 6A runner-up. We've got the head boys and girls track coach at Scottsboro High School, Coach Luke Robinson, with us, and two outstanding athletes. And we're going to tell you just how outstanding these athletes are in just a moment. We've got Cooper Atkins and also Maddox Ham with us from that outstanding Scottsboro team. Men, welcome. Glad to have you with us this week on the AHSAA Weekly.
Glad to be here.
Coach Robinson, let's begin with you. Congratulations on another outstanding effort by your team. Of course, that's not a surprise for folks who keep up with high school athletics. Scottsboro, a long-time power. Just kind of tell us about this season overall and the state meet last week.
Well, at the beginning of the season, we're just really excited that we got to have a season. You know, all the seniors last year missed out on, or all the juniors last year missed out on their season. So them getting to come in and do this season was great. But we started off, finished out indoor. We had a goal to be state champions this year in outdoor. Of course, we missed that bar a little bit, but we had a great season all along. All of our times and all of our races just kept getting faster and faster as the year progressed. All of our field event marks, Maddox Ham over here being one of them, just kept getting better and better throughout the year. So it seemed like everything peaked at the right time.
Well, let's talk about these two men. Let's put this in perspective. We have been having in the AHSAA state track and field competition for 96 years. These two guys did something that has not been done ever in the 96-year history. We will begin with Cooper Atkins, the 3,200, the 1,600, the 800. He set records, fastest ever. And then Maddox Ham. We've had no one in history that has ever gone 17 feet on the pole vault. He did that last week. Coach, just talk about these outstanding all-time 96-year records.
Well, I'm blessed to be the coach of these two athletes for sure. Cooper is kind of been he's worked with me since he was in 8th grade. He's been a leader on the team since he was an 8th grader. Maddox coming in pole vault, that just being able to witness and be the coach of two outstanding performances at state was just a blessing to be a part of. I kind of knew Cooper had it in him the whole time. We kind of knew Maddox had it in him the whole time. Just never kind of happened throughout the year. And for it to all happen at the state meet is just as good as it gets.
Cooper, I'm going to give you a chance to brag a little bit here. I want you to tell folks out there some numbers. Throw the numbers out at them that you're a senior, that you set last week. These are incredible numbers. Go ahead and brag a little bit and tell folks some of the numbers you threw up last week.
So in the 3,200 meter, I ran 9:01. And in the 1,600 meter, I ran 4:08. And then I closed off the weekend with the 800 meter race, and I ran 1:53.
Going into this, obviously, I don't know if you knew the records or not, but in 96 years of history, was this something that was on your mind? Did you have a number in mind that, hey, I think I can do this number, or was this something that just kind of came by surprise?
Ever since I even started running, that's always kind of like a big goal, is by your senior year, you want to break a state record. And that was the goal going into the state meet.
Maddox, let's go over to you. You are only a sophomore, so you still got growing to do. And you have had no pole vaulter ever that's gone over 17 feet in state history. You did that. Again, I'll kind of ask you the same question we asked Cooper. Was that a surprise to you, or was that a goal that you thought you could get over 17 feet?
Well, the 17 feet was definitely, I guess you could call it a barrier that I wanted to cross. But, I mean, yeah, it was a pretty big goal for this season. But with little, pains and different things throughout the season, had some trouble in about the middle, but then got it all put together for state.
Maddox, so we mentioned you only being a sophomore, so you've still got 2 more years to go. What's the goal? How high do you think you can go? What kind of improvement? I mean, you've already done the best that's ever been done in this state in this event, in this category, but how high can you go, I guess, is the question.
Well, I like to think that I've got a good bit of room to go, because I was going from not a very long run. I wasn't on the longest pole that I could probably jump on. So just gonna, keep getting stronger, getting faster, and see what we can do with it.
Coach, and maybe this is a question for all 3 of you. These other 2 guys can chime in as well. But Coach, last year, all of our spring sports, well documented, did not have a chance to crown a state champion because of the virus. And so this year has been extra special, I think, for the spring sports. Fall and winter, there were some strange things that went on with those sports. But for the spring sports especially, I think it's been gratifying to see state champions being crowned and just having a chance to compete in the state championships. Your perspective, you've been doing this a long time and involved with this for a long time. How special was this year to be able to go back and actually compete for a state championship?
Well, I think it just made it mean more. I think once we got to start competing again, I think it being taken away from us last year, not that anyone took it away from us, but that we had to close down the season. I think the whole year for athletics in general has just meant more, especially to our kids. Our track kids, usually half the team starts in cross country. And so they lost their track season, and then the track athletes that lost their season last year, I think every year, every meet, indoor and outdoor, this whole entire year, it seems like it's just meant more, because they were just more proud to be there since day one of this season. Just glad to be able to compete and practice, and it just made coaching nice too, because it seemed like all the athletes valued what we were doing a lot more than they normally would, instead of taking stuff for granted at times.
Well, Coach, thank you so much. First, congratulations on another great season, and congratulations to the individual champions. Thank you for joining us, Coach. We appreciate you taking the time. Also, we appreciate Maddox, and we appreciate Cooper taking time out of their busy schedule to join us here on the AHSAA Weekly. And that's Coach Luke Robinson of Scottsboro High School, also Maddox Ham, and also Cooper Atkins from that state runner-up in Class 6A track and field team from Scottsboro High School. We'll be back with more of the AHSAA Weekly in just a moment. WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA Weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
Hot under the collar because your basement is full of water? Ox Foundation Solutions has the expertise and the know-how to repair cracks, wet basements and crawl spaces, and uneven floors in your home. Ox Foundation Solutions will come up with the right fix for you. It's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong.
Don't just dream it. Call Family Savings Credit Union. Right now, get something you want for as low as 2.24% APR. You can even apply online or by phone. Family Savings Credit Union, where your money grows with you and your family.
I'm Alan Parnell of the Parnell Insurance Agency. For 28 years, we've provided our clients in Alabama and Georgia with home, automobile, life, business insurance, and surety bonds. Our Oxford personal line staff is Michelle, Christy, Elisa, and Ty. Our Oxford administrative staff is Alan, Amber, Carrie, and Ty. We invite you to come to one of our offices in Oxford, Alabama or Tallapoosa, Georgia, and discuss your insurance needs with one of our insurance professionals.
We are back on the AHSAA Weekly. Time to meet another Wilson Ball Grant recipient. This is Jennifer Westall of Holly Pond Middle School in Coleman County.
It's a growing program, actually. Last year we had 14 girls on one team. This year we're going to have 10 girls on a 7th grade team and 12 girls on an 8th grade team. I know our area can be hard hit by economic times, so a lot of our girls can't even afford to play club volleyball. So we work really hard to try to keep them up as far as being competitive and being able to play with the other teams that can play club. So it's going to mean a lot. Our ball cart actually broke at the end of the season and some of our balls are very worn. So this will be perfect. It's exactly what we needed right when we needed it. Thank you so much. This is going to be such a huge help. It also helps me reduce the cost to the kids to be able to play. I don't have to pass anything on to them so that we can fundraise and put our funds towards allowing more kids to participate and play, which is what I really want. I want every girl possible to play volleyball.
And we continue now with David Holsford's highlights. David Holsford of the Alabama High School Athletic Association putting together highlights this week, highlights from around the state, basically coming from the 96th annual AHSAA State Outdoor Track and Field Championships. We go first to Coleman High School and Oliver Woodard Stadium, where classes 1A, 2A, and 3A competed. And we'll take a look at some of those efforts, starting off with Altamont High School's Kaiya Todd, winning the Class 2A girls 100-meter hurdles and setting a new Class 2A state meet record in the process with her winning time of 15.21 seconds. Next, we go to the boys' Class 2A 100-meter dash finals, where Cleveland High School's DeQuarius Phillips turns in the fastest 100-meter time of the day at Coleman, winning the event with a time of 10.69 seconds. Some speedy guys right there in Coleman. Still at Coleman, we move to the Class 2A boys 3,200-meter run and find Cold Springs freshman Ethan Edgeworth blazing past the competition to set the 2A outdoor record with a time of 9:42.42. His effort beat the old record by 10 seconds, and he crossed the finish line almost a full minute ahead of his closest challenger. That young man certainly has a bright future from Cold Springs High School. Now we go to classes 4A through 7A at Gulf Shore Sports Complex. The 6A boys 1,600-meter race, senior Cooper Atkins of Scottsboro High School crossed the finish line at 4.0840 to beat the previous record by almost 5 seconds. His time also broke the state record for all classes. He had some competition, however, with the second and third finishers also beating the old mark. Atkins went on to set a new Class 6A state record in the 3,200 with a winning time of 9:01.75, another all-class mark as well. We next go to the pole vault, where Cooper's Scottsboro teammate Maddox Ham also had quite the weekend. The sophomore seen here becoming the first pole vaulter in the AHSAA to clear higher than 17 feet. He set a state record at 17 feet and a quarter inch. Scottsboro, coached by Luke Robinson, would finish second overall to Opelika in the 6A team competition. It was a weekend of great distance performances. We pick up the Class 7A 3200 race, where Vestavia Hills' Ethan Strand finishes his career with individual championships in the 3200, 1600, and 800 races. He set new Class 7A state outdoor records in all three events, with 152.73, 411.77, and 912.88, respectively. And the sprinters got into the action as well. Parker High School senior Jacobin Retta is picking up here, running the fastest 100-meter dash in the AHSAA state meet history. He wins with a time of 10.27 in the prelims and followed up by winning the finals in 10.59 seconds. His prelim victory also broke the previous record set by Keenan Brock in 2010. Retta also won the 200 in Class 5A. Class 5A also had the fastest female in Alabama, as senior Shanice Spicer of Brubaker Tech of Montgomery ran the fastest girls' time in Class 5A, clocking 11.51 seconds in the prelims. She broke her own record in 2019. At 11.79, Spicer would run 11.83 in the finals, winning the gold medal.
With us missing state last year, I just wanted to take every practice and do 100%. And I didn't really know if we were going to have an outdoor season because of COVID this year, but I was still taking practice, seriously. Every meet that I could get into, 100%. I tried to PR each time. Next, I'll run like 3 summer meets this summer, but after that, I'll be at Alabama this fall running track.
Really, just putting in a bunch of hard work, especially with the quarantine. During that time, I wasn't doing anything. So I decided to go play football. I got back on the weights, I got back active, get myself back together. And then going into track season, I just continued to work hard and stay humble. And I knew this was going to be a great season, so I'm just really happy that we was able to get a season. So, as of now, I'm planning on heading to the University of Alabama to continue my track and field career.
And that was Janice Spicer and also Jacobin Retta with some comments after those competitions. And we want to thank David Holtzford again from the Alabama High School Athletic Association for putting together those highlights on David Holtzford's Highlights. And that's going to do it for this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly. We will see you back here next week.